So hey, I'm Chloe. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at YOLO_Kurama. And you can follow my YouTube channel, which is Two Zealous Nerds, and that's spelled the number 2.zealous.nerd. And this is Tin Pod Radio.
Please don't fear me, because I know what I want. Please deliver me that soft part of your soul that makes you freeze time. Staring in at yourself, it's time to step outside onto the path you once made. Let me so I can find all your tears. I can mend you so you can function again. I was where you are in oblivion. I know you feel alone. You got to ask yourself where you are now. It's where you are now.
To be completely honest, the truck was a piece of shit. It had been nothing but problems for Ken since his father turned over the payments to him. To be fair to the truck, if there's ever a need to be fair to a truck, most of the problems for how it ran were Ken's own fault. The truck was given to him in good shape. Beyond good shape, almost new. But see, Ken is what is, especially around this part of the world, referred to as a dumbass when it comes to vehicle maintenance. This is the guy who once went 2 years without having to have his oil changed. Well, it wasn't as much that he didn't have to have his oil changed, as he just didn't have it changed. No forgetting or otherwise busy, just didn't do it. Some people would not even believe it was possible to drive a truck around for 2 years without changing the oil, but I guess Ken proved them wrong. The truck has been towed away to many a garage for belts, the alternator, the ignition, the steering column, brakes and the battery, and now it's sitting on the side of the road not far from where Ken and Sabrina live, but far enough away from anywhere else to be in the middle of nowhere. The hood was up and Ken's head was under it, looking around for the reason behind the sudden stoppage. Knowing nothing about this truck or any other truck, besides the fact that he had to put gas in it to make it run, the image of him looking under the hood was only another example of a man dancing in the thick refusal to be stupid. But Ken just isn't the normal sort of stupid guy. He's his own special kind of stupid guy. If you knew him, you would understand it was not a matter of ego, but of him honestly trying to make things right. A quality others liked about him, but not the quality you would normally associate with someone who has a secret life where he's robbed a few banks and turned a few profits that rub up against the law, and not in the special touch way of rubbing up against the law that gets the law wound up. Even if Ken knew he didn't have a chance in hell of doing something right, he still tried, but it was just another thing about him that pissed Sabrina off. You can't wear a rogue's costume while spouting the philosophy of Barry Allen. They've been together for all the against the law stuff, and his refusal to look at himself for what he is drives her crazy. This is what we are, but we can do things a different way. This is our way. Sabrina was sitting in the back of the truck searching the news on her phone, looking for information on the disaster in Florida. She wasn't finding much luck because most of the information was of a speculative fashion, coming from outside the disaster area. So much of the area is totally without power, and communication in and out isn't that smooth. While doing that, she was giving glances through the front window, through the open space between the hood and the truck, watching the movements of someone who is in her life because he's a tool that she needs. Whether she gives a shit about that tool or not, it's now attached to her hand. A pair of conjoined twins has a better chance of being safely separated than they do. "What do you think you're doing? You don't know anything about fixing this thing," she shouted, not as much to Ken, but to let everyone around, if anyone was around, and there wasn't anyone around, to know how stupid he was. Ken once went off about how if the only living thing around was an ant and she saw a chance to make him look bad in front of that ant, she would criticise his magnifying glass holding abilities or something. He moved his head around the side of the propped up hood. "We're fucking stuck, what else do you want me to do?" Sabrina whispered to herself. Fucking retard, go retard yourself. Whispering to herself was actually Sabrina being nice, which meant she was really distracted by worrying thoughts about Julie.
We hope you've enjoyed this 10 Pod Radio fiction audio production, narrated by Stacey Taylor. You can find Stacey on Twitter at StaceBobT, and her podcast is popcultureparlor.podbean.com. This story is written by Brian C. Williams, edited by Christina Caceres, copyrighted 2017, System Productions.
Under the Training Books is a sleep-deprived, often drunk writer's brain dump, expelling the wasteland of words and thoughts from his brain so he can reboot for the rest of the week. Under the Training Book is a journal-style show resembling a Diaryland blog. It's a mix of rants on politics, musings about faith, pop culture references, and every stream of consciousness thought that might cross the mind, all on 10 Pod Radio.